Good morning, this is Jerry Zremski coming to you again from the Buffalo News Washington Bureau. I'm here with my weekly update as to what's going to be happening in the week ahead here in Washington, D.C., and there's a lot to talk about this morning. The first thing I'm going to be paying attention to in about an hour or so is a speech at the National Press Club by the Homeland Security Secretary, Janet Napolitano. She's going to be delivering her annual report on the state of Homeland Security in the United States, but I'm also hoping that she'll talk about an issue that's very important to Buffalo, and that is this. The United States and Canada have this agreement now called the Beyond the Border Plan, and what this is, in the long run, will be an effort to streamline border operations to make it easier for cargo and for passengers to cross the U.S.-Canadian border. Part of this involves moving some operations, some clearance operations for some cargo to the Canadian side of the border at certain border crossings. The Department of Homeland Security and Canada are going to be working on a pilot project at some border crossing to try to do this, to see how well it works. And what we would like to know from the Secretary, and I don't know if she knows this answer yet, is whether or not the Peace Bridge in Buffalo would be in the running for that pilot project. The folks at the Buffalo-Niagara Partnership and other local leaders would very much like Buffalo to be part of that pilot project, but only time will tell, and perhaps we'll get some new insights on that today from Secretary Napolitano. I will also be paying some attention this afternoon to the U.S. Senate and what it's up to, and that is this. This afternoon there will be a vote in the Senate about whether to proceed with debate on the Stock Act. That's the legislation that would ban insider stock trading among members of Congress. Representative Louise Slaughter has been pushing this bill for 6 years. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is pushing it in the U.S. Senate. And today is a very big day for this piece of legislation, because if it does clear this vote in the Senate today, there will be a full Senate debate on the legislation sometime in February. So that's an important issue for us, and I'll be watching that as well. Beyond that, later this week, I hope to follow up on a story I did last week about the potential closure of the Niagara Falls Air Force Base. This week, officials from NIMAC, the group in Buffalo, in Niagara Falls actually, that defends the Air Force Base, are going to be here in D.C., and they're going to be talking to people at the Pentagon and people on Capitol Hill about the threat and how serious it is and what people can do to try to protect the Niagara Falls Air Force Base. So I'll be meeting with those officials from NIMAC after their meetings and talking to them about what they've heard, and probably doing a story after that. I'm hoping that, given all of this, I will still have time to get to a story I did not get to do last week just because there was too much news, and that is about congressional reapportionment in New York State. As I mentioned last week, New York will be losing 2 congressional districts, and the state legislature is taking a very long time in deciding which districts those 2 will be that are eliminated. I hope to take a look at why it's taking so long and what the impact of that would be on people who would like to run for Congress this fall. So, time permitting, I will be doing that, and whatever other news comes down my way this week. As you know, as you probably figured out, I change gears quite frequently down here because I have to, because news forces us to do that, because we're trying to bring the most important news to you as fast as we can. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for reading the Buffalo News. I hope you'll be reading my stories this week, and I hope you'll tune in next Monday for next week's update. Thank you very much.